subscribe.
一体どんな手を使って
どんな手も何も俺は元から
登録していた。
Card Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. Welcome to another market review video. In case you're a new viewer and you don't know what these videos are, my market review videos are me over-engineering all the market data that I'm collecting for the One Piece card game. We'll go over stuff like price increases, price decreases by percent, by dollar amount, TCG player prices, card market prices, tournament performance, and the prices of competitive decks, and expected values of a booster box to tell you if it's worth it to buy a sealed product right now or not. We'll look at it by card, by set, just a wide array of metrics that I like to go over. And this is the only channel where you'll find that information. Last time I checked, everyone else is kind of just clicking through TCG player pages in their market reviews. So yeah, that is the summary of what you're about to see in this video. If you do want access to this dashboard, I do grant it if you're a Marketeer patron on my Patreon, for as long as you're a Marketeer. So we're going to break down the video like this. We're going to start off with the changes since our last market review. This will be any meta shifts or any tournaments or any like new card announcements or leaks or reveals. Then we'll go over all the metrics I have in my dashboard, and then we'll close off the video with some key takeaways after looking through the data. So new since the last market review, a couple of regionals have now taken place. I believe there were 2 offline regionals, right? This core TCG one in Santa Clara, and then this 401 Games one in Canada, and also 2 online ones. We have the one by Carta Magica, and then there was one in Oceania by TAC Games, where I think a Whitebeard won this one. Yeah, we'll go over the tops for these tournaments when we get to the tournament tab, but the results of these tournaments have affected the price of cards. We see what is now the initial shapings of the meta in 06 for us. And in addition to that, we do have new 08, OP08 leaders revealed here. So there's a dual color Chopper card, a monocolor Carrot, dual color Marco, and there's a new King leader too, black purple. I think so far it's been this Marco that's been generating the most buzz, so cards related to this leader have had their price change quite drastically, but we'll see more of that once we get to the metrics in the dashboard, so we'll move on to that now. So let's take a look at the movers, the biggest increases and decreases for this period. I'm gonna just look from the beginning of 06 to now. So that's March 15th to March 25th here. And I'm gonna exclude promos because we'll look at that separately after. So just overall, the card game did increase in price, and that's just because there's a big influx of new cards in 06 that are worth quite a bit. But we do see that the overall value of the game has decreased since 06's release quite significantly. If we exclude 06 in general, we can get a good picture of the state of the market without this infusion of cards. So yeah, excluding 06 from the peak in like late January in 05, in the 05 meta, the card game has decreased quite a bit. Yeah, over $2,000 decreased in the value of cards. And this is due to some of these leaders not being viable anymore, like Purple Luffy, and then Blue Black Sakazuki is getting banned completely in June. So he's still good for now, but yeah, because we know he's definitely getting banned later, people are starting to get wary of keeping these cards because they know they're going to lose value out of them pretty soon. Yeah, let's look set by set to start this off. Let's take a look at 06 to start. That's what we're most curious about, right? So for 06, the biggest increases starts off with the SP Borsalino. Wait, how is he $11 to start? Let's check this out on TCG Player actually. So if we look at the sales data, sales history, yeah, these pre-release prices for some reason, I don't know how these were able to get through, but it sold for like less than $1, and that really screwed over the market price on the first day that this card was actually released, right? I think it like kind of averaged 75 with these very suspicious amounts. I don't know what's going on here. There's something shady going on here, TCG Player. Yeah, if you didn't think stores were manipulating the market before sets were released, this might be proof, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that's why it had an abnormally low market price of $11 on release, but it's now 60. It makes more sense for an SP card. I still think it's pretty low, right? Because this card is really only run in Sakazuki right now. and since Sakazuki is going to get banned, I think that's why a lot of people are ditching this card, but I do still think it's a pretty solid card. Like the Boa deck runs it in 07, Marco could run it in 08, right? Sanji could cheat out this Borsalino. So I do expect the price of this card to keep going up later when people remember that this card is still pretty good actually. It's just that only Sakazuki runs it right now, and I don't know, people just aren't using their critical thinking, I guess. Rebecca also went up, SP Rebecca. This is just a waifu card, so that is probably why it went up $31. Altart Reiju also went up. This is two-factor. It's a waifu card, it's a popular character, and I think Reiju has been showing pretty good results, both in our 06 meta and then in Japan's 07 meta, where like they get like what, 4 to 8 new cards in the 07 meta, and that means that it should still be quite strong in 06. And then there have been the tournament results to back that up. Same with 8 cost Gecko Moria, went from 67 to 96. But yeah, now it's hovering around 100. It's been about the same since release, I'd say. And this is just a staple card in the meta right now. So not only does Sakazuki run it, which, yeah, he does get banned later, so you would expect Gecko Moria to lose value, but that is saved by the fact that the Gecko Moria leader also runs 8 cost Gecko Moria, and so does Perona, and pretty much any black deck really can run this card, so that's why he's retaining his value, despite the Sakazuki ban news. Sanji here went up $24. This one is due to the Marco reveal in 08. People are starting to think up the combos you can do with it. Because what his effect does is if you attach Dawn to him, you can draw a card and then put a card from your hand back on top of your deck or on the bottom of your deck. And what this Sanji does is it lets you play the top card of your deck if it's a 9 cost or less. So you basically get to control what you play with Sanji on your like 10 Dawn turn, because you put 1 Dawn on your leader and you have 9 Dawn left over to play Sanji. So people were thinking of doing stuff like Sanji into Whitebeard or like Sanji into Mihawk even. And because of that, because of this new combo potential in that new color combination of blue and red, Sanji nearly doubled in price. No, actually more than doubled in price. I thought this was 80% increase, but it was 180. Yeah, it's almost triple. Oddly enough, the Altart Sanji doesn't crack the top 5. Just a regular secret rare Sanji. We'll probably see it soon, but let's just move on for now. The Altart Perona is also up $20 over 100. This is probably just a waifu card because I think only Gecko Moria runs this card. It's staple in that deck, but this 8 cost Altart Gecko Moria is run in more decks than this Perona. But yeah, this Gecko Moria doesn't have tits, so that's why this card is more expensive right now. SP Linlin is also up. People don't expect Katakuri to go away anytime soon, even with the reject ban. Then there's Onami too. Onami is over 100. This is a combination of things as well. Waifu valuation, Nami herself valuation above all the other waifus. And it's a usable yellow card. Then regular Vinsmoke Reiju, up $7. She's hovering around $20 right now. For just a regular SR, that's pretty crazy. Absalom Altart also up. Staple in the Gecko Moria deck, but yeah, again, no tits, so not $100. But the leader Reiju is up $6. She started off at 129, so she was already expensive. She's got slightly more expensive. Secret Rare Zoro also up $4. There's really no decks that utilize them right now too well, but it's Zoro, so that makes sense. And he has tits on his card too, and they're like out. So that might be affecting the price. Altart Ichiji also up because of how strong Reiju has been in 06, and he'll be strong in 07 as well. Hiyori also up. This one is, I don't know, some Yamatos. It's run in Yamato, some Katakuris run it. I think Enel, some Enels are starting to pick up on this. It's really more of a tech card. I don't think it's a staple as of now, as people are trying to figure it out. And then the regular 8 cost Gecko Moria is also up $3. Regular Perona up $3, or $2.50 actually. And if you're wondering where that treasure rare Nami went, I had to go fix my data real quick. I marked her as an Altart instead of a treasure rare, but I fixed it, so she's gone from here. So that's all the increases, right? It went up to Kami here, and it looks like that kind of finishes off the increases. We're starting on the decreases here. Let's sort by decreases. Biggest decreases for this period. Biggest losers of 06. Ooh, Manga Zoro is the biggest loser. 1800 to 1580, nearly $200 down. Treasure Rare Nami took quite the beating too. People expected this card to be a lot more rare than it was, but actually it is more abundant. Pretty common to get actually. So you can pick one up for 100-ish. SP Buggy also down. This one, I don't know why. It started off more expensive than all the other SPs, but now it's like one of the cheaper ones. It's less than Linlin. Yeah, Buggy, I don't know, it's still staple in like a Zoro deck and stuff like that, but just Zoro isn't popular or meta anymore. Sugar also down, like half. SP Sugar. Ooh, Red Purple Uta leader down 30 bucks, hovering 50. It could be viable one day, I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea to invest. Actually, probably not. Right, because the new 08 Marco does what she does without having to discard a card in hand. He gets to do it just for one Dawn attached. But I guess Uta can ramp, I don't know. Alt-Art Zoro also down 24 bucks. Yamato also down 20 bucks. But then yeah, they started off at 205, but 180 now. Still like super expensive. Like I think Sakazuki's like 50 bucks, even though he's like the top meta leader. So this could just be like a waifu factor. Alt-Art Tashigi down 20 bucks as well. Most likely because only Sakazuki runs Tashigi, and yeah, again, Sakazuki's gonna go bye-bye in like 2 months. Or 3 months? Yeah, 3 months-ish. Ooh, for some reason, Alt-Art Sanji went down, even though the regular version of him went up, like tripled. Actually, it's not too much more expensive to pick up a full set of Alt-Art Sanjis than it would be to pick up the regular base version. Probably the cheapest bling you could go for right now. This Searcher Film Luffy also down over half, 15 bucks now. Hody also down, no one can figure out how to play him, and he's not the prettiest leader. Judge also down, 12 bucks, even though, yeah, Reiju is meta, but Judge is not the like important card in the deck. Some people run only like 2 copies, if at all. This All Sunday down. Dang, a Robin card went down. Could just be the effect of purple not being meta anymore. Momonosuke also down. Aramaki Alt-Art down. Shanks down. Yeah, these are... Well, Momonosuke is kind of playable in one build of Yamato, but these other Alt-Arts are just unplayable in any deck right now. Yakomoriya leader went down 6 bucks. Perona also down 5. Shiraya down. Red Purple Law is pretty popular though, actually, and he's gonna get even stronger in EB01 and 07, so I don't know. I guess Shiraya is not like mandatory in the deck. He's a good blocker. He's good against leaders that swing for big numbers like Katakuri or like Yakomoriya swinging for 6 to activate their leader ability. So I don't know. I feel like he's a good card. He'll still be important in 07. That could be your chance to pick some up for cheap. And yeah, we reached the end of the decreases. And I'm only looking at cards that are $5 or more, by the way. So there's probably a lot more increases and decreases that aren't showing up here, but they're like for really cheap cards that probably you don't care too much about. You could afford under $5 card, right? Okay, let's take a look at 01. And we'll go through this quickly since I spent so much time on 06. So biggest increases, only 3 bucks. It's this King, 7 cost King. This could also be in anticipation for the 08 King leader. I'm not sure if there's any real synergy between that leader and this King card, but I guess investors see character and leader with the same face, must be related, right? Same thing happened with the 5 cost Yamato. When green yellow Yamato was announced, people pumped up the price of the secret rare Yamato from 01, even though like no Yamato decks run it. So yeah, it just could be ignorant like pokey investors or like MTG investors trying to make some speculative moves without any knowledge of the game whatsoever. But if there is synergy between that King leader and this King card, then cut this part out, editor. Okay, Law also up $1, Alt-Art Luffy up $1, and that's pretty much it for the increases. Let's look at the decreases. Biggest decrease is just 6 bucks. So we have Law here down 6 bucks, Kid down 5, Crocodile down 4. Here's that Yamato I was talking about earlier. Okay, just the leaders getting slightly cheaper. Rush Zoro cheaper, Nami cheaper, a lot of the staples in 01. Yep, slightly cheaper, but not by much. It peaked at 5,280, now it's like 4,670. It's actually more than $1,000 decrease since its peak. This could be due to the Memorial Booster set being announced, where it's like a reprint set that's coming, like I think 2 to 3 sets later. And people are speculating that a lot of these staple 01 cards are gonna show up in it. Let's move on to 02. So the biggest wieners for 02 is Borsalino, of course. Is this the most expensive he's been at 49? This might be, actually. I know he's hovered around like 40, 50 for the longest time. Here's a functionality of my dashboard. If you click a card, you could hone in on just the price history of that card. So yeah, the cheapest he's been was like 10 bucks back in October, and now this hump here brought him over 50. He's the most expensive he's ever been, even more expensive than he was in 05, right? Because this is March 19th after 06 has released. So Borsa continuing to be a staple in the meta. Really should reprint this card in the reprint set. 9 cost Whitebeard, both the Ultra and regular version is up thanks to 08 Marco's reveal for that Sanji into Whitebeard combo here. So they're up just a little bit. Alt Art Marco also up. The blocker one though. Some people were thinking that you could chain Sanji into Ace as well, because he'll get Rush in a Marco deck because he's a Whitebeard Pirate leader. Kuzan also up. It's a staple in every black deck right now. Ooh, the leader's actually going up a bit. Like cents, a couple cents up, but not too significant. Let's look at the decreases. You see Alt Art Borsalino go down. So Alt Art goes down and regular version goes up. Garp continues to go down. He's quite expensive for a leader that is like unplayable. He costs more than Sakazuki actually. Wow. That is quite interesting. And then Whitebeard here going down a bit. Even though he did win the Oceania regionals. So I don't know. I thought he might go up, but looks like nope. Film Nami going down, just being a slightly cheaper until Film can be more consistent once the EB01 comes out and we get a Film 2k counter and another blocker. Kuzan going down, Ivanko going down. Yeah, just random cards going down here. Look at 03. Yeah, 03 does have that 5 cost Marco, which is a lot more useful, and we see that card go up because of 08 Marco. Perospero also up. Yeah, just the Katakuri cards up here. Spandam is also up for some reason. I guess Lucci in 07 uses them. I'm not too caught up on that deck. Firefist Alt Art up. But these are just $1 up, so probably nothing significant here. Let's look at the decreases. Ooh, Manga Soga King down. Some of the leaders down. Wanted cards all down for some reason. They're not as collectible anymore. To be honest, these are a lot uglier than the SP cards, so I can understand why. SP card art is like amazing, while these are like kind of like shitty anime screenshots on like a even shittier wanted poster kind of design. Sorry to the person who designed these cards. Yeah, nothing else really stands out. Okay, let's look at 04 then real quick. So 04 SP Newgate up. So we see SP cards go up now? Oh no, this is like the only one here. Okay, Bedge is up. Sabo and Sanji. Sabo is a staple. Sanji as well, but that's about it for the increases. So everything else is a decrease to set. So all the other SP cards went down. Mango Sabo also down. Yamato Alt Art down. This is probably just because Enel isn't too hot right now, but once 07 hits, Enel is going to be like turbo boosted, so we could see Yamato go back up. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to go back up because you run Yamato and Ace in the new Enel deck in 07. Rebecca down. Doflamingo down. Yeah, again, Rebecca costs more than Sakazuki right now. All the SP cards down. Dang, Sakazuki SP is like dirt cheap. But yeah, that's the decreases for 04. Let's take a look at 05 to round off the OP sets. Okay, biggest increases for 05 is the manga rares actually. Manga Luffy, Law, and Kid back up a bit. Actually, no, Kid didn't change price at all, but Law and Luffy did. Actually, these are the only increases here. It stops at 5. So yeah, look at the decreases then. Ooh, all the SP cards in 05 down. I really like the art for these though. Nami not quite cracking the 300 mark. Starting to go down from here. But yeah, look, Luffy and Sakazuki, they're like 60 bucks now each. Holding hands to the bottom. Very nice. Yeah, just everything else is decreases in 05. 05 was quite overinflated to begin with anyway. But it was like a meta changing set, meta defining set. But yeah, seeing the price. I think there's like a 05 reprint wave coming soon too. That might be why. Let's take a look at just starter decks too, just so that we have all our bases covered. So for starter decks, we see 7 Mom actually go up because people are preferring it to 8 Katakuri right now in a Katakuri deck. Since 8 Kid isn't too much of a problem at the moment, people are opting to just go full on 7 Mom instead of 8 Cat. Queen also returning back up to his former glory price, not back to the highest he's been, but I think, yeah, he was like hovering 40-ish, now he's 30. Greater option also back up to $15. I think there was a lot of panic dumping when this card was announced to be banned, but actually it's not being banned for another 3 months, so there's still 3 more months you want to use the top card in the meta, so going back up to reflect that price, I guess. And then Hina went down for some reason too. I guess people were just, I don't know, panic fudding once Sakazuki and Greater Oceans announced to be banned. That like all black cards must be bad now, but Hina's still a great card. And Uta up 80 cents, so not significant. Any decreases. The Kid went down because pre-release season is over, I guess, and then everything else doesn't really matter. Right, that's it for starter decks. And then for the promo cards, I'm just gonna look real quick if anything stands out. Super pre-release winner, Dawn card, nothing really. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to see these in detail, you can subscribe to my Patreon as a marketeer, and you can look at it yourself. Let's take a look at one of the new tabs I made. So I made like a separate video to show off this tab, but I'll get to show it off in a official market review video, I guess. So this is my expected value tab. I calculated the expected value of cards. I only have it for 06. Let me filter it for 06. It's already filtered. Yeah, so in 06, you can only get 5 different variations of pulls from your box. You can either get a double alt art box, a alt art secret rare box, an alt art secret rare SP card box, alt art secret rare leader box, or a double alt art leader box. So I calculated like the average price a card would be based on these distributions. And then with that calculation, I calculated the average price of how much a double alt art box would be, and respectively the other variations. And then I took the weighted average of these 5 numbers to come up with the value of $200, right? Because some of these variations appear more frequently than the others. Like alt art, and alt art secret rare are a lot more abundant than like the leaders. So with that taken into account, you can expect that on average, a box of 06 will net you $200 in value of cards. So that would mean that any store selling a sealed box of 06 right now for over $200, you're most likely going to lose out in value for that box. You're going to lose quite a bit, because the worst case scenario is 141 on average in an alt art secret rare box, so like $60 loss there. And this is assuming that you're getting the box from like a truly random sealed case, which you can't really verify. Like a store could just sell you a dud box that they pulled from a case that they already got the manga rare from or something like that. So your chances of getting like a double alt art or alt art secret rare are a lot higher actually than you would want to think, unless you really have full trust in the person you're buying from. So yeah, this $200 estimation is a generous one, assuming that there's no like shady monkey business going on. So because of that, let's take a look at how much a box is going for and on TCG Player. All right, we're on TCG Player, and that's annoying. How come there's like so much Japanese product on the site now? What's the first English one? All right, this one here sold for $194. So actually, at $194, it is kind of worth it to buy at $200. On average, at least, you're expected to make $200 from the box, and if it costs you $194, you're up a little bit. But again, it's still a gamble, because you could get one of the shittier boxes where it's like double alt art or alt art secret rare. You're only up if you get the other 3 variations, and you may be thinking like, oh yeah, 3 is greater than 2. But again, these 2, the cheaper ones, you do have a higher chance of getting one of these than the other 3. So yeah, I guess based on my math at least, it's worth it to buy at this price, but do buy at your own risk. And do note that a couple days ago when I was checking this, it wasn't 200, it was like 180. The reason it's 200 now is because of the 08 Marco, and some of the other 08 announcements have really like increased the price of this Sanji card. So that probably factors into it a little bit. And then Reiju also has gone up a little bit in price as well, due to how well it's been doing. So yeah, again at $200, it's still a gamble. So if you feel like taking a risk and you can fully trust that the box you're getting is truly random from a sealed case, yeah, I'd say go for it. Let's take a look at our tournament prices tab. So I added a new filter. You can filter by the format that the deck is for. So let's take a look at 06. And then we'll exclude this PPG online case tournament. It's not a regional, so I don't think it's fair to group it with the other regionals. And then looking at the top 16s of all of these tournaments, the most expensive deck is an Enel deck actually on average. And also do note that this is using the minimum variation, minimum base art, minimum price card version of each card. So yeah, on average, the cheapest Enel deck you can make is $478. After that is Gecko Moria, the next most expensive, and then Perona, and then Sakazuki. This is all thanks to all the black cards being expensive, Gecko Moria, Great Eruption, and stuff like that. For Enel, it's 8 cost Katakuri, driving the price up, I'm pretty sure. Uta, it's 8 cost Kid, Nami, and then probably maybe Doflamingo if some decks run it. Red Purple Law is also quite expensive. Katakuri is actually like way cheap now, $235, thanks to the popularity of switching from 8 cat to 7 mom. Yamato is the next most expensive, and then Newgate, that one Newgate that won in Australia, is $187. Reiju is one of the cheaper decks that can help you get into meta viability. It's $150, so that's why it's pretty popular. And then there's a singular Nami here, I believe. They got 16th in one of the tournaments. It's $66 to play Nami. Cheap. You can take a look at all the Enel decks here real quick. I just want to show off the features of my dashboard. There's actually only one Enel deck that placed 11th place at the Santa Clara regionals. Yeah, if you did want it to bling out every card in the deck, the max you could pay is 2,200, and that's getting like the highest variation of everything, all the alt cards. And if there's like a tournament price card version of a card, it'll take that into account too. There's probably some Shirahoshi that is quite expensive, I think. Yeah, as we suspected, that Katakuri is the most expensive card in the deck. 4 copies will run you 263 minimum. Next most expensive card is this Linlin, 66 bucks. Everything else is quite cheap. Hiyori is actually more expensive than I thought it would be. But yeah, Hiyori is more expensive than Yamato even. Let's take a look at the next most expensive leader. So Gecko Moria. Should expect to see many of these. Yep, we have 18 Gecko Moria decks up here. Oops, I messed up importing the names for these two. Sorry, whoever these people are. I'll fix that later after this video, so you guys won't see it missing. Let's just take a look at the first one that showed up here. It sorted randomly, so random enough, right? Yeah, so if you fully bling out a Gecko Moria deck with like the winner Borsalinos from probably some treasure cup in the past that had that card, it's like 6,000 bucks, 6,700. And this Borsalino is the most expensive card in the deck. Even at 3, it's the most expensive. It's not even a 4. It's not even a full playset of 4. Gecko Moria is the next most expensive, then Great Eruption, and Kuzan. Those are all the cards that are over 10 bucks. Oh no, Sabo is also 10. Yeah, quite expensive. Then in a Perona deck, what's the most expensive card? Probably Borsalino as well. So there's only one. Got 12th at the Oceania regionals, and it's 4 Borsalinos, of course. Yeah, probably going to be the same for Sakazuki, to be honest. So let's just skip to Uta. Most expensive card in Uta is Kid, and then Nami, and then this guy ran 2 Zoros. Everything else is quite cheap. 9th place at Santa Clara, nice. Take a look at a law deck, I'm curious. 3 laws made top 8, top 16. 2 in Australia, 1 in, I think this is Canada, right? Ooh, so the most expensive card is this Gordon. Gordon is at 22 for 4 copies. It's like $100, and then Reiju is the next most expensive, and then that promo law. So yeah, this deck does run 2 promo cards. Queen also quite expensive in G House, red purple law deck, but I know some people don't run Queen at all. Everything else is cheapo. So it's just Gordon really. And you'd think that Raise Max would save us, give us a functional reprint, but people are just running both now. And then just out of curiosity, let's take a look at Reiju since she's so cheap. Yeah, we see 6 Reijus top. That's why Reiju is pretty popular. And the most expensive card is the 4-cost Reiju. The next most expensive card after that is Kaya, so the rest of the deck is like dirt cheap. Easy to build. So that is my tournament prices tab. I even have a feature down here where like you can see the trending price of a deck. So if we look at the Whitebeard deck that won in Australia back in December was when it was the most expensive at 240, and then now it dropped to like 140, 130, and then back up to 180, 187. And it's probably because of these Marco and Whitebeards going up in price because of 08 Marco's announcement, Ace 2. But yeah, that's crazy to see that red decks even in their prime, right? This is like 03, 04, 04, right? Yeah, Whitebeard was still strong in this meta, still considered like one of the top decks. It's like a quarter of the price of a meta deck nowadays. All the black meta decks are 400 bucks. Whitebeard, 100 bucks even way back when he was top dog. And you can see that because I do have historical prices here. So just interesting to note. Y'all hate red, but at least it was affordable compared to these prices you see here, at least. All right, let's take a look at the tournament performances. And this is just stats on like play rate and like average placements and the number of decks that topped. So if we filter for 06, which we already did, we do see, let's get rid of the PPG online case tournament. Okay, we do see actually Gecko Moria more represented than Sakazuki by 1 deck. So there's 1 more Gecko Moria that got top 16 than a Sakazuki did. But in terms of average placement, Sakazuki places higher. So we can say that we expected this kind of result. Gecko Moria being the new leader, and this being the first batch of regionals. People just wanted to try out the new thing. But in the end, we all know Sakazuki tends to do better on average, and we see that reflected here in the average placement. The next most populous leader is Katakuri at 11, then Reiju at 6, Yamato at 4, Law at 3, then the Whitebeard at 1. And down here I have like the tournament statistics by card. So let's say I wanted to look at all the Sakazuki decks. You can see each card that any of these 17 Sakazuki decks ran, and then like their average placements in the decks that they're running, number of decks that they're running, the usage percentage, and the number of tops. So Palmeppa was used in every Sakazuki deck, so is Hina, Tsudu, Virgo, brand new. These are all the staples. Sakazuki decks don't really vary too much. But we do see some that didn't run any Borsalino at all. Some that didn't run any Kuzan. Some that didn't run any Sabos. Doing Great Eruption, that sounds wrong. Let me verify this real quick. Okay, I'm not going crazy. There were some decks that did not run Great Eruption. Some Sakazuki decks that didn't run it at all. Here's the deck from the Krefeld Regional that got first place. In place of Great Eruption, they ran the Navy stage. So there really are 3 decks that did not run Great Eruption in their Sakazuki deck. So that kind of begs the question, why are we banning it? You can still get top 16 even without this card. You can get top 1 actually. That's the deck that I just checked, and there's 2 others that I didn't check. And Borsalino's not even a staple. Two decks didn't run it. This is blowing my mind. What the heck? So yeah, I guess that's something you can use this dashboard for. You can find out some new spicy tech before everyone catches on to it. You can find out what cards that pro players are or not using. In this case, you found out there's 3 Sakazukis that don't use Great Eruption and still top 16th. Yeah, I'll end it here for now in this video. I do have a few more tabs, but this video has gone on quite long enough, I feel. So key takeaways from this market review period. Looks like 08 is looking to shake up the market as well. A lot of old cards are going to come back into viability, it seems, or people are speculating that at least. We see 06 kind of solidify the meta right now. It's Sakazuki, Gekko Moria, Katakuri, Reiju at top right now. So I would expect more of their cards to increase in price as the meta progresses. And then I do expect the decrease of a lot of Sakazuki staples once it gets closer to June when his ban comes into effect. We do get EB01 pretty soon, so I expect Red Purple Law cards to maybe go up in price because he's going to be a lot more viable soon. And yeah, it looks like the overall price of the game, it's not ballooning anymore. It's decreasing actually, even since the start of 06. But that's pretty normal. Once a new set releases, prices do tend to drop the weeks following. But yeah, 06 is definitely not 05, but still being scalped, I feel, to quite the large degree. But it's gotten to the point right now that the expected value that I calculated does make it seem a little worth it to buy it at these scalped prices. But again, I have to reiterate, it's still a gamble. The worst possible combinations are like doo-doo in terms of value compared to the highest ones. So there is a chance you'll be definitely sorely disappointed or very happy. So that's on you, how you spend your money. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this deep dive into many different metrics that I have built out in my dashboard. Again, I'm fairly confident I'm the only one doing these in this way, right? I'm not just clicking web pages and yapping. But I am still yapping, but I'm yapping over statistics and data points and graphs and stuff. But yeah, if you do want access to this dashboard, again, I do grant access to it if you're a Marketeer patron on my Patreon. Otherwise, you have to wait for me to make these videos whenever I feel like it. Could be next week, could be a month from now, who knows? But yeah, if you want more immediate access to it, the data refreshes every day. You know where to get it now, I guess. All right, bye.
Card D Kaizoku.